What up, what up, what up, what up? It's me, LTeddy27.
Good as night, right about the hood.
Oh, dear God, I'm already eating a drink.
Look a damn mess, just a damn mess. No means no, and yes means no.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good, people? What is up? What's up? It's me. I'm LTeddy27, and I'm back for another review. This is going to be our review for Chasing LA. It is season 1. It is episode 6. It is entitled You've Done Crossed the Line. Now, production. As an English teacher, no part of it, y'all saw how long it took me to get through that title of the episode. No parts of me wants to say you've done crossed the line. English here. Can we speak the language? Can we conjugate verbs, please? Oh, God. It's downhill from that. From the goddamn title. Y'all already know. We're already downhill. So let's get this over with. We still at this goddamn Valentine's Day soiree or whatever the fuck they got going on. Dear Lord. And so it's all of this commotion, all of this going on. Quan and King Payne get out of Dodge because that was after the whole blow up between Quan and Andre. And Andre was like, you can leave, and this, that, and the third. Quan and King Payne leave. Jeremy then goes back inside and tries to have this meeting of the minds between Alicia and Fran. That didn't go a whole lot of places. Fran, I was feeling Alicia, but Alicia sometimes, she's delusional as well. And so even though I was with Alicia when she was saying, okay, if you want me to call you they, them, their, whatever, you need to let me know since you present as a man. I need to know that your pronouns are not he, him, that. I was with her on that. But then once that was established, she just kept on beating the dead horse. But, well, you still got to tell me, okay, Alicia, he's already told you his pronouns. So at this point, you just got to call the boy, you just got to call them they, them, the pronouns. It didn't go anywhere. He's stupid. Both of them, and she's a little delusional and churched. And then, I mean, Fran just comes off as a typical queen trying to fight for camera time and attention and just wants to be just way too over the top. Way too, just too... I can't even say flamboyant because I don't have a problem with people being flamboyant. That's who you are. That's who you are. But it should not always be at a level 5,000. Okay? Like, we can't always be at DEFCON 5. And I feel like we're always at DEFCON 5. Like, tone it down a little bit. We're having a serious conversation. And at no point during the conversation can you dial it back and say, okay, let's have a civil conversation. We ain't got to throw jabs. We ain't got to throw reads. We ain't got to do subliminals. But these people, and Alicia wouldn't let it go either. So both of them are culprits in it. Can y'all go find a hobby? I still don't know what the fuck Fran does for a living. Madam, I don't know what Alicia does for a living either. I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, Jeremy confronts D. Hawkins at the table. And so here's my point. This is complicated because I think that if there was this whole thing where allegedly D. Hawkins had talked to Quan about setting up a scene or setting up this situation where they could bring up Jeremy's porn and they could talk about and they could bring up the fact that and so that could be a way for D. Hawkins to go in and drag Jeremy and so forth. Now, I kind of felt Jeremy when he said, if you're going to bring up me and talk about me in front of all these people, then I'm going to do that. But I feel like if Quan is going and that moment never happened, then why are you bringing this up? Because Quan had already left and had never had an opportunity to bring this up. So the likelihood of it being brought up was never going to happen. And so this was unnecessary to me. Because once you enter into the atmosphere that y'all were talking Y'all, this isn't just, people, cast members. Y'all ain't just friends. Y'all were talking. And so I think, in my mind, in my estimation, for me, if I'm talking to somebody, whatever we got going on is not for public consumption. That ain't for me to be debating and deciphering and disaggregating out in the public sphere. Certainly not on a show and a platform that's going to go out to thousands of people. And so by Jeremy having this moment, morphing into Roid Rage Rhonda. Shouts out to Roid Rage Rhonda. Y'all got to go back to the Come Up New York reviews to know who I'm talking about when I say Roid Rage Rhonda. If you've been with me for a while, y'all already know who Roid Rage Rhonda is. Y'all already know what we went through with her. Anyway, he morphed into Roid Rage Rhonda and had this moment. It just really came out of nowhere. Now, I was kind of with D. Hawkins on this. It did come off as a little bipolar. I mean, you went from 0 to like 1,000. I was like, girl, what is going on? Like, it literally looked like a roid rage or something. It got real out of control. And it seemed out of place because, and D. Hawkins was sitting there just real calm. Now, in Jeremy's defense, some people do that. That's some people's way of getting under other people's skin. Like, I do that sometimes when people are very animated and they want to have this big moment, they want to yell and scream, and I'm sitting there real calm and just like real nonchalant, real unbothered, and that incenses the other person. It makes them even more angry, and they just explode on you and stuff like that. So I kind of understand that point too, but it came out of nowhere, and it was just. They talked about it, but then they didn't bring it up because I still don't fully. Because Jeremy said something about you had your ass out on Instagram telling people to hit you up in the DMs if they want parts of your ass, and Jeremy was like, "How you think that's supposed to make me feel if we talking?" And this, that, and the third. At some point during this confessional with D. Hawkins, did he say buffoolishness? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I thought I heard him say buffoolishness, which makes sense if the people in charge with production and editing have titled this freaking episode "You've Done Crossed the Line." I don't know. Nothing happened with that. Andre and Jayla, because this argument is going on, at some point Jeremy walks off. Andre is trying to hear what D. Hawkins has to say. Jayla don't want no part of the conversation no more. She's trying to change the subject. Andre gets upset and was like, "No, girl, shut up. Let him talk. Let him talk." Jayla and Andre then have a back and forth. They hold back and forth, which culminates in Jayla throwing a drink at Andre. At that point, Andre gets up and goes over there to tap on Jayla. Now, let me say this up front. Y'all gonna be in my comments, and I do not care. If and when you throw something at somebody, man, woman, boy, girl, you have decided that it is go time. You have decided that you are ready to square up. You have decided that you're about to throw up a set. And I'm not of the notion that, Jayla can just throw a drink at Andre, and Andre just supposed to sit there and just take it because she's a woman. No, Jayla shouldn't have threw that drink at him. If she didn't want any retaliation from Andre, she shouldn't have threw that drink on him. Period. You can be anything you want. Man, woman, boy, girl, cat, dog, non-binary, gender conforming. Okay? The problem is not that Andre went after Jayla. The problem is first that Jayla threw the drink. That's the first problem. Jayla, you have no business throwing the drink at nobody. The second problem is, Fran, where the fuck do you come in at? Like, why is Fran even involved? Now, if there's anybody who deserves some type of reprimand, consequence, disciplinary action, it is Fran. Because you have no business being involved at all in any of this. This does not involve you. And that's why I said earlier, Fran is just this typical, I told y'all from the beginning, from the very first episode, that woman I can't even say woman. Child, they rubbed me the wrong way from the very beginning. I told y'all from the first episode, I don't see it for her. I don't see it for him. I don't see it for them. God, these pronouns, Lord. I'm sorry. Y'all, pronouns. But I don't see it for them. I don't see it for them at all. I don't. I knew that from the first episode. You know, my discernment be real on. Go back and watch. I told y'all from the very first meeting, I said, yeah, I don't like her. Him, them. I don't like them. I gotta get these pronouns. I'm sorry. So, Fran is the worst out of all of them. Jayla is wrong. Fran is the worst of them all, because Fran over there trying to throw chairs on people in a situation that has nothing. Fran was looking for an opportunity. That's all it was. Fran was looking for a moment and an opportunity. And it's people like Fran and situations like this that makes the show unlikable. I think people would even be here for it if this were a situation that might have even involved Fran. They might have been like, oh, girl, look at this fight. You know what I'm saying? Because we've seen fights on shows. And if it's Andre and Jayla going at it, okay, we might be like, oh, girl. Where Fran coming at? Now, it goes without saying. Now, this is what we really going to get down to it. Let me help you understand something, Fran. I know you are gender non-conforming and ambiguous with your gender, but you certainly don't appear to be black. And if you ain't black, you racially ambiguous. And here you are in a room filled with black people. This is just not going over well for you, sweetheart. You're in a room full of black people. This ain't gonna come out nice, and this may come out hard. I don't care. I'm introducing this into the stratosphere. Friend, we're not here for you, sweetheart. You need to go on over there and find you a friend and find you a hobby. Because all this carrying on you got going on, and girl, I got a feeling she's one of those girls that she's gonna let an N-word pop out her mouth at some point. I feel like she probably is. I feel like she probably has already. But girl, we're gonna keep it moving because I can already feel myself going somewhere. Anyway, Jeremy and D. Hawkins, so they had to de-escalate that first of all. And so they go outside, they done snatch Jayla wig off. Hershey takes Jayla her wig back outside. Alicia outside crying. Jayla was like, well, I'm the one who got jumped. Why is Alicia crying? Just forgetting the fact that Alicia had a whole experience a year before that of getting jumped. So she probably was triggered. Anyway, so that was real insensitive of Jayla to say that. But Alicia's over there crying. Andre inside crying. Girl, everybody crying. Girl, what is with all this crying? And girl, I guess these child. What Andre crying for? I have no idea. No idea. But anyway, D. Hawkins and Jeremy then try to have a one-on-one conversation. But the cameras are there. So how do you figure that this conversation is going to go well? Not when we got cameras there. See, this conversation should have been had off camera with just the two of them, and I'm sure some stuff would have got worked out and figured out. But y'all trying to do this in front of the camera, and both of y'all at this point are trying to have a moment, trying to beat each other to a moment, and on child, just a mess, just a damn mess. That didn't go nowhere, and that was I'm sick of talking about that stupid thing. It was basically over from there. Quan invites King Payne and Jeremy to Paint It with a Twist, Sip and Paint, or whatever you call it. They discuss the party. We just discussed it, so I'm not going back through that. King Payne comes through because Quan and King Payne have no idea about all that other stuff that happened because they had already left. So Jeremy caught them up. D. Hawkins had blocked Quan because I guess D. Hawkins is mad that Quan told Jeremy about the plot. And so, my thing first of all, excuse me, D. Hawkins, you present yourself to be a man of a certain age. Now, if you come out and tell me that you 20-something D. Hawkins, I'm going to tell you you're not aging well. But you present yourself as a man of a certain age, at least 35 plus. So, my point being, you got to know D. Hawkins, being in the game long enough. Punks can't hold water. The girls cannot hold water. You tell them anything, girl, you might as well write that shit on a billboard. The girls can't hold water. So, you thought that Quan was going to keep your list? Child. You can't get mad at Quan. You need to be mad at yourself that you even was stupid enough to think that was going to, child, child. Anyway, Quan tells D. Hawkins and King Payne all about this setup that D. Hawkins... Quan tells Jeremy and D. Hawkins all about this setup that... wait, did I say that right? Quan tells Jeremy and King Payne about this setup that D. Hawkins was planning. And so forth. Then King Payne talks about his launch party that he's having for his, I think, hair care products or something like that. I think. We then see Alicia down there doing a photo shoot for her podcast because we finally figure out I don't know. I don't know what she does. I don't know what she does. I was about to say we finally figured out what she does, but I don't think we did. Then we have Jeremy and Hershey who come through. They talk about the party. I'm sick of the party. So I'm not going to talk about it. Moving on. So the next day, Jeremy does this wonderful thing. He invites Hershey to his house. At first he lies and said out in Sherman Oaks, multi-million-dollar house, said this is his house. It's not his house. We later find out it is the home of Todrick Hall. Now I'm going to put my personal issues with Todrick Hall to the side for today. I don't know. We had some conversations about Miss Todrick Hall. And I'm going to come back over here and say, this was a beautiful scene. I loved this scene. They sat down, they talked. I'm sure the parts that we didn't see or hear, he probably gave Hershey some phenomenal advice and some, they probably had a chance to really talk about some stuff. And now, I mean, if you just want to help him out, Todrick Hall, I mean, I'm sure you got some spots and slots where you can say, you know what, girl, on my next video, Miss Hershey, girl, come over here. Or, you know what, I know so-and-so. Let me go ahead and talk to them and get you in good with them. That's how you help somebody out. All of this talking and sitting down is good. This pep talk and everything is good. Okay, that's good. But, girl, you got all of these connections. And just like Jeremy used his connection to link Hershey with Todrick, you have exponentially more connection than perhaps even Jeremy does. So some people you can be like, you know what, I think you'll be a good fit for this. Or I think you'll be a great fit for that. Let me call them and hook you up. Here's their number. You call them, you tell them I said to give them a call. They're going to be waiting for your call. Girl, I done hooked you up. Now that I done hooked you up, you take it and you run with it. That is how you help somebody. You give them the opportunity. Now, you can have that talk with them. You can talk it out, but you got to actually give them something tangible and say, you know what, we done talked it out, but I'm going to go further. Here's an opportunity right here. And I'm going to give you this opportunity, and you take it and you run with it. And you know what, at that point, the sky's the limit for you. And y'all see Hershey, he's good for it. Hershey's good for it, so he's going to take that opportunity and run with it. So I definitely think that it was a great moment. I think more could be done with it, but that's just me being picky, I guess. But I loved that moment at the end. And that was pretty much the whole episode. Listen, I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I am tired. Oh, I just hit myself in the midsection. I heard. With my talking it like that, it went the wrong spot. Oh, that hurt. Y'all can imagine what that was. Ooh, child, that hurt. But I'm just so, I don't know. And it looks like it's going to be more the same next week. I don't have the stomach for this. I don't have the stamina. I don't have the anything for this. Oh, dear God. But we'll be back. If y'all see a thumbnail with D. Hawkins this week, you see one. If you don't, you don't. Because it was hard for me to find anything to use D. Hawkins with. So I might be using the same thumbnail from last week. Just because. We'll see. Until next time, that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. We out.